So again, welcome everyone, and thanks a lot for today's workshop. And I also like to invite all the participants, and we can begin this session. So initially, we would focus on some of the trends and why we discussed, means why we want to discuss this particular topic, like why we want to discuss like how to reduce the manpower, because we are ending up the 2022 and we are looking forward for 2023. So this particular topic would really help you strategize your business and how you can automate. And that is the reason, as I shared, we have a guest speaker, Linus Williams from Stigler Printing, and who is from Stigler Printing, a 60 years old family business and consistently growing company. So he would share the insights how, as an organization, as a print provider, how they have reduced the dependency on manpower and how they have focused to reduce the repetitive tasks. So the same manpower now helping them in the growth aspect rather than just getting busy on the repetitive task. So what you will learn into this particular workshop, that what are the major challenges of the print provider today, how to address these challenges, and many of you would be even aware of those challenges, but then you're not able to do anything of it. There are multiple reasons why you're not able to implement a technology or automate your order processing. And that is the reason we have also invited Linus, that how successfully companies are dealing with it, because these are the challenges impacting the print providers growth. So they have to act on it, but many of the reasons they are not able to implement the technology. So let's start from the current challenges. So basically, we've been hearing from post-COVID, a lot of challenges have emerged. The COVID was definitely a big challenge, but even post-COVID, the different challenges started, like in terms of the shortage of the raw material. That was the biggest, but now it is getting less. But we were just we attended the Printing United, and we also attended this special session which was organized by NAPCO, and they mentioned like the biggest concern which would be concerning the print provider in first half of 2023 would be the rising labor cost. Even many print companies wants to hire new labor. They are not even finding it, even though they want to pay, for example, the higher cost. So there is a labor shortage, especially the skilled labor, and at the same time rising the subtrade cost. So these are the top three challenges which are the biggest concern from the print companies, which are shared by NAPCO research. And second, we also want to understand basically, so we were researching this particular topic, like many of the print company, if we for example analyze the number, they are saying most corporations lose 50% of their customer every 5 years. There could be multiple reasons, but we would discuss those reasons in the next slides. But this is very in terms of concerning number, like we are not even aware why our customers are not buying from us. So they are saying like every corporations, like most of the corporations lose 50% of their customer every 5 years, and even 50% of their employees in 4 years. And this is the pressing issue, because in 2023, if we really want to grow, we'll have to focus on our existing customers retention, as well as retaining our key people who are with us, who been understanding our business and then helping us to grow. And if we talk about like how to address this challenge, so streamlining the order processing and automation is must. So there was also research done by NAPCO in the same session. They shared what other print companies are focusing. So 84.9% of people mentioned like increasing productivity and efficiency is their goal in 2023, increasing the production speed and automate operations. So almost like more than 80% companies believe that they need to improve the productivity and efficiency to grow to the next level. So currently, for example, everybody would know that we need to automate the processes. The challenges are the same for small print companies as well as large print companies. As an on-print shop, we've been discussing with a lot of SME print companies, and they are facing like all of the activity are dependent on business owners. So I was talking to, for example, a print shop, and he just recently subscribed our platform. So I was sharing like, are you able to give an estimate within minutes? He says, if I am there, I always give the estimation within minutes. I don't have customer waiting. And then I asked like, what happens if you go on holidays? He mentioned, oh, I have to keep my Skype on. So anybody comes for an estimation, my customers or my team members connect to me and give them the estimation. So I said like your family members would be fed up because you are on the holidays and still working. He said, yes. So the discussion is like today still majority of the activity in the print business is dependent on the key people, which starts from the estimation, giving the quotation, creating the artwork and file, and then giving the status updates. So these complete processes are manual. And if you realize these all are repetitive tasks, which can be easily automated. Second, they have multiple processes and platform. When we talk with even large companies nowadays, they are saying like we are serving the new customers in a different way. We have existing customers managed on a different way, and they have multiple platforms and processes. Like we visited one of the company while we visited Printing United in California. They are the large organizations. That means they don't have any issue in terms of labor, but they have multiple processes and platform. So they have like B2B customers served on a different platform. They have certain customers demanding online printing. They have launched a web to print with another company. They are serving SME customers and B2C on a separate platform. So today their challenge is like managing all the platforms and processes. And they are not able to create a centralized order processing because their dependency on multiple platforms. And fourth, many of the print company are realizing that this is the bottlenecks and challenge for them to grow to the next level, but still they have a fear of change, like how we would be able to change, what our customer would feel, how we would be able to successfully transition from one platform to another. But it's like just moving from one house to another house, or when you grow, you are moving from one particular premises of an office or an infrastructure to the next. So you always have to make the decision when you want to move ahead, or maybe you want to scale to the next level. So these are the reasons why PSPs are still dependent on manpower and why they are not able to make the decision. So how companies have achieving it? So very first thing, we at OnPrintShop, we've been discussing with a lot of print companies, and we always help them define their goals. So very first thing is like we need to focus on growing the repeat sales and increase the client loyalty. So instead of focusing only on new sales, we are focusing on like how we can offer the best customer experience to our existing clients or new clients, and how we can grow the repeat sales. There was a research done online, like for example, if we talk about Vista Print or Amazon, these are all online brands. So their repeat customers is more than 50%. So if you buy on Amazon, you always go and buy on Amazon. So that kind of post-purchase experience they are giving, and why you want to go in Amazon and order, and even if you have so many other options, because you get the best customer experience when you go on Amazon. You don't have to go on Amazon and call them what is the price of the particular product. You don't need to call on Amazon and say, where is my order? You don't need to call on Amazon and say, what was my last order? Because they have everything processed and optimized with the help of technology. And that is where they are increasing the repeat sales, they're increasing the client loyalty. Second, defining the right teams to implement. So even Linus would agree, like key people have to be involved at the decision making stage when you are deciding what technology you are going through. Because as an owner, you might make a decision, but then your team is not even aware what you are getting into, and they get surprises when at the implementation time. So the key people from sales, or key people who are doing estimation, key people who are handling the customers, they have to be involved at the implementation stage, or when you're deciding on a technology. Third, you really need to focus on centrally managing all the sales channel and orders. So when you are investing into a web to print, it is not just for one particular customer or one particular type of customer. Many of print companies, like last I was discussing with one print company, and they mentioned like we are connecting you. I said like, what is your key objective? He said like, we want to launch a new retail site. I said, that's great. So how do you currently manage all your orders? He says like, we are serving B2B customers, resellers, and it is mostly email and phone, but that existing customers are okay. We are managing it. And I said, okay, then how much time are you spending handling these customers? He says like, yeah, majority my time goes handling these customers. And what about other key people? He said, yes, their time also goes in handling the customer. Then I asked, then who will spend time focusing on this new retail brand you are opening? Are you employing a new people? He said, no, we'll be just spending the time from our daily schedule. And I said, like, who would then work on this retail side? Because opening a new brand or growing into new segment, it's not easy. You have to focus on growing it. So what they realize is, like, rather than focusing on the new sales, they should really automate their existing customers and ordering process. And that's where they realize that, okay, I understand now. So I said, like, are you able to make your key people 50% free from your current schedule? Then only you can focus on growing into new segment, because you already have the manual processes which you are doing, handling the customers, and you're adding more work onto those people. So those people are now have to follow two different platforms and two different processes, because they've been doing some things from MIS, and then they would have another online platform to manage. So rather than focusing on the new sales, now their goal is like, okay, I understand now. So now their focus is like how I can automate the processes for my existing customers. So we discussed like how your resellers are ordering, what are different steps, where do you see the challenges, where it is taking your time more in the order processing. And then we have implemented, now we are in the process of implementing OnPrintShop to automate their existing customers and resellers. And now once they get free out of that repetitive task, then the same platform can also help them focus on the new sales. And then because you're launching it with the existing customers and to automate the existing customers ordering, you also get a lot of feedbacks. Because if you launch a new brand and directly go and targeting to new sales channel, and if it is not done correctly, you always fail. You will see like many brands come up in the market and then go away, right? Means go after a few months. So instead of that, the successful company, what they do, they launch phase wise. They launch with existing customers, resellers. They allow them to order online, and then they get the feedback, and then they improve on the products, they improve on the services, and they launch to the larger level, or they launch to the new customer. So the companies are focusing on the existing customers and growing the repeat sales, focusing on offering modern customer experience, and then involving the right team, are able to successfully achieving it. So these guys are able to create it successfully. Because if you really see right now, if you have your existing customers managed on a manual way or a traditional way, there is a lot of communication is going on. Like we were talking with one large company, and we mentioned like, what kind of orders do you manage? They says like, we only manage B2B orders, and those B2B customers also want a lot of small orders, but we have to turn them down. We asked like, why you have to turn them down? He says like, because it goes to salespeople goes to estimation goes to estimator, like estimate it, then they send it to sales rep send it to customer. So it's already like so many, like 3-4 hours are already spent, and the order is only of maybe 500 business card. So we already spent like $300-400 in terms of hourly rates if you calculate these employees, plus key people have to be involved. So this is like, for small orders we don't want to manage. And gradually what happened, slowly and slowly their number of orders started getting reduced, because even B2B, if you see the research, the order volume and the order quantity is constantly going down. So the people who used to buy in bulks, now they want more personalized printing, so they still order the similar quantity but in the small volumes. So for example, at a time somebody was ordering 10,000 brochures at a time, now they're only ordering maybe 1,000 at a time, and they always do personalize in terms of design every quarter or every now and then. So even small quantities, you always have to focus. You cannot turn them down. And the one way of automating is like how we can automate this small orders and many of the repetitive process like quotation, design approval, print production, shipping, how we can automate this process and get our key team out of it. Because if you see the research that was done, like if you are managing all orders in a manual way, like email, phone, average 17 communication is done to get the order confirmed. And there is no guarantee that order will be confirmed, because customer will just ask for the quotation, you give them the quotation. If they like it, they approve the order. If not, you are just sending them the quotation. Plus there is no actual tracking how many quotations you are sending daily, what happened to a quotation. I was just talking to one company, they mentioned like every day we are sending 10 quotation via email. We are very fast. And I says like, okay, if you send 10 quote today, you send 10 quote yesterday, and you send 20 quote day before yesterday, how do you track it, like whether customer approved it or not? He said, yeah, that's where the challenge is, because we don't know if customer approved it, liked it, not liked it. So they are realizing that, okay, these particular processes can really be automated and tracked, and that can help them the conversion. So what we are doing and what we are considering to process and to reduce the manpower is to set up a centralized order management. Whether you are a small customer, whether you have a small customers or large customers, you need to have the centralized order processing. Whether it is a new customer or whether it is an existing customer, you need to have one particular place where you're able to manage all the orders, whether it is an offline orders or online channels. And whether doesn't matter whatever your size. If you're an SME print company, you are busy into the repetitive task. So anything from quotation to estimation to designing to production, everything is dependent on the key people. And if you're a large company, you might have multiple platforms in the backend like MIS, maybe web to prints or e-commerce and accounting. There also you have multiple platforms and dependencies. So each of the customer channels and each of your customer types have a different processes. So there also, for example, the challenge is managing the multiple processes. So the step one in centralized order management is whether customer is ordering online, or if you have certain customers who are ordering via offline channels, your team can manage orders at one place. And that gives them at one place, whether it is online, offline, everything is managed onto one particular platform. So what happens because you're managing in one particular platform, it generates a lot of documents automatically. Because even when we hear from a lot of print shops that, okay, after maybe you sent a quote in email, if customer approves that quote, then what happens? Then say, okay, we confirm an order and then we have to create a job ticket. We also checked, we met some of the print shop, they're still doing the handwritten job tickets and passing that job ticket to some person. Now that person maybe reads everything properly or he may not, then there are many chances of order errors as well. And then again, production and then shipping, customer have to call them and say where my order is. So what system can do, once you input an order where customer do it online or your backend team input is from the backend, system generates all the document automatically, starting from job ticket, invoice, shipping label. And then once you update the orders, customer also get the instant notification. So customer do not have to be dependent on you to get the order status. And that's what Amazon experience is. That's what the world class post purchase experience is. So step three is like the happy customers, because customers do not have to call you or email you. They always get those email notifications, and they also have some kind of access in your platform, like we call it a my account. So they can go online anytime, use their credentials, and can start tracking the orders, and they can start tracking the number of quotes they are managing onto the platform. So today we will be showcasing how the Stigler printing has also achieved. And then also we are very happy to share that we have this production framework solution, which is an upcoming product. So this is like a print order manager, which allows you to centrally manage all the orders at one place. So what will happen is like this particular platform will be an extension of print e-commerce, and that will connect to your e-commerce platform, and that would allow you to manage print orders from multiple online and offline channels. So you might have multiple online stores, maybe one from OnPrintShop, another could be you are selling some products on some third-party platforms or a marketplace, or you have maybe a site in Shopify selling it, but then you want to have one particular platform to manage all the orders. So this production framework is an upcoming product, which will be an extension to your e-commerce solution. So let me show you quickly, for example, what are the different ways people are automating the flow, and Stigler printing is here. So I'll just give that example, and then we would invite Linus to share his experience. So the very first thing, every company is realizing what are the repetitive tasks which is taking their majority of time. And if you consider the processes of order processing, the very first stage is quotation and estimation. So in this particular stage, everything is dependent on key people. Whether you need a small business card or maybe a large custom products, everything goes to an estimator. Even large companies today, when we talk, they say like, okay, sales reps collect the information from a customer, and then we send them to the estimator, and then estimator sends email to sales rep sends email to the customers. There is all to and from email communication. So the very first thing, successful print companies are realizing that there are many items which are standardized, which you do now and then, which are frequently asked by the customer. So if we talk about Stigler printing, they automated almost 90% of the products with an online estimator, which could be anything starting from automotive printing to business cards to even complex products like books and magazines. So customers are able to today, for example, estimate on their own, select an option and get an estimate right away without any dependency on the key people. Plus, many of the products there is a dependency, because if you are serving small customers, they need designing to be done. And even in the manual processes, graphic designer can only handle the limited jobs. So even for small changes, if every job goes to graphic designer, the graphic designer would be busy all day. So if graphic designer doesn't have time, maybe customer will have to wait, or customer will go somewhere else. So here there is also an online designer option. So they have created many of the great designs or the common designs customer need, so they can do those minimum designs online and personalize it. And they're also specialized into booklets and newsletter printing, which is also one of the complex product, but still customers are able to get an estimate for this type of products as well. And then apart from that, many of the print companies are doing this custom projects. So in custom projects, it is not always that, okay, this is an easy job to estimate. So custom jobs are managed as a code. So in terms of any customer would fill up a request that, okay, what kind of project they're looking at, there is a personalized form, but normally you just get an email and there is no tracking. So here in order management system, what customers are getting is like whatever orders they do, all the orders are at one place in one particular account. And there are also multiple quotes. So if they're doing multiple quotes with you, then all the quotations are also at one place. So here, for example, assume that somebody filled up a quote, they get the quote ID, and now once you give them the price, they can also for example track it. So this is what the Stigler printing have achieved. Now many of the print companies would say like, our customer will never order online, our team would not be able to manage the system. So that's why there is a back-end ordering system, and that is the reason we are sharing that it has to be used as a centralized order processing. So still, in spite of having an online system, you will still have some percentage of customers would need uh, they will send you an email or they will call you and say, can you place an order? So there is a back-end ordering system as well. And many of our large companies are also getting orders from external marketplaces. For example, the customer is not even coming onto the system and ordering. They're getting orders from Shopify. They're getting orders from external marketplaces. They are serving some large B2B. So they also send them order via XML or in certain technical formats or via API. So we also have a way of importing those orders. So today, the centralized order management and OnPrintShop print e-commerce as well as integrated order management allows companies to manage online orders, which is their storefront via OnPrintShop. Plus, it also helps them manage the orders from the external marketplaces. And because every orders are at one place, as soon as order is added by backend team or customer do it online, system creates a lot of things ready. Like every order has a, for example, job ticket, invoice, file is ready, the shipping label is connected. So there is no manual intervention of creating the job ticket because we know customer have selected it online and we have all the documentation ready. At the same time, there are a lot of custom code requests every day we are getting. So those code requests are centralized at one place, and we can now start tracking all the codes. And we can also see, for example, number of codes we have, and then whether the code which we send customer approved or not. So this one particular place, printers are able to manage their custom codes. And this will allow you to centrally manage all the orders. So there is a complete dashboard of the customer. So anytime if customer wants to reorder, they can call at particular, for example, call you and then say, okay, what particular customer is calling you and say, okay, I want to reorder. In matter of second, your internal team member can go inside the system and say, okay, yes, this particular individual customer has this many orders, this many quotes. So in matter of second, we can find any customer data. And this is what we talk about, like the modern customer experience. We don't have to, for example, they don't have to call us and get the status updates. They can simply give the status updates directly from the backend. Even if they want the reorder of any previous job, they just reorder it in matter of second. And now we are further connecting this platform with the backend production framework. So now, along with this platform, you have one centralized production framework platform, which is an upcoming product which will be launched in 2023. Some of our customers have taken it as a custom project, but now this would allow you to further connect your online e-commerce as well as offline channels and manage at one particular place. So whether you are a small company or a large company, the only thing we need to identify as like, what are the repetitive tasks we are getting involved in, and what are the dependency of our key people. Either we already have multiple systems, then we need to think of one centralized order management platform. And if you're operating completely manually, then all the repetitive tasks or repetitive activities which we discuss, quotation, design creation, approvals, can also be automated with the system. So that is where we are talking about, for example, how we can reduce the manpower needed. In terms of, we need the manpower, but then the manpower needed is focusing on the growth aspect and not on the repetitive task. So we are not saying like we are reducing the people or we are firing the people, but those key people who are doing those repetitive tasks, now they can focus and helping you on the growth aspect. And again, I'm very happy to invite Linus now and share his experience, like how Stigler Printing over 60 years been growing consistently, and then how they've reduced the manpower with the automation. Hi, Linus. Hi, Linus.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having me. Is my camera working? Can everybody see me? Okay?
Yeah, I can see you. Okay, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm thinking about, and I'm listening. This has been really interesting because even though every day I'm processing orders and I'm in and out of our site and our workflow software, this has been interesting to get an update as to what you guys are up to, because we do kind of come back to this. Seems like about every 3 to 6 months, kind of an evaluation of our site and the appearance of the site. And the thing that's kind of coming to mind for me, and I'm thinking back to when we first started working together in 2009, is, you can get overwhelmed really quickly with a lot of features on this site. And we are a small business. In fact, if you look up Stigler, Oklahoma, you'll find that we're in a very remote area. We are a community of 3,000 people. We are a county seat of in a county of 11,000 people. There's no interstate that goes through us. We're not part of suburban sprawl. We are in the middle of nowhere. And if I have to do business, to be quite honest, I'm not really doing a whole lot in Stigler, because it would take you about 45 seconds and 2 stoplights to get through Stigler. So we do support local businesses, but if I have to do any business, it's about an hour drive. So we're in a very remote area with a very, very limited job pool of folks that we can hire. And so when we were first starting with the OnPrintShop solution way back then, and you guys have done a lot, I mean, unbelievable amount of development, which I think is keeping you at, trending upward in terms of leaders in the type of software development that companies like us are looking for. But even at that time, I remember going through maybe whatever the conversation or an email. Anyway, I'm looking at your software and I'm totally overwhelmed and really intimidated, because I am, and still, but definitely at the time, was very limited technically. And so, and I've fielded a lot of calls over the years from folks that are interested in OnPrintShop, and a lot of folks that I talk to, you can tell there's some real limitations in terms of their knowledge of technology. For us, going back to that time, and just to give you a little more perspective, we're a family-owned business. My background is in newspaper printing. I grew up in a small town newspaper that my grandfather started in the 40s. My dad took over, and then I moved back in 2004 with my wife, and with the goal of starting a family, not really knowing I was even going to get in the printing business. It was more just about trying to find start a new life and raise kids and all the great things that young couples are thinking of. I had no idea what I was getting into, clearly, but looking back at that particular time, our company was very, very small, and so it took me about 2 years to realize that I was going to have to figure something out with our company. And we had a lot of newspaper printing equipment. We didn't have a whole lot of volume. A lot of the equipment was sitting idle, and I was trying to figure out ways to generate revenue. And so I was able to connect with Radix, because I was looking for some way to grow our print business, and which was very archaic. There's no website, no software. It was job jackets, and realizing that I had to diversify our company somewhat. So anyway, when we connected with Radix, I remember being overwhelmed, and I was really wondering, do I want to jump off into this? but I really didn't have a choice because I'd made a commitment moving back to Oklahoma and I was going to have to make this work. We had tried to develop a website, and that was a disaster because I had an IT guy, wasn't really an IT guy, more of a graphic designer, and we failed miserably for a couple of years. And I was going crazy. I was driving him nuts. He was driving me nuts. So when we found Radix, it made sense because, okay, we were going to be able to rely on a technology partner for not only a website, but also really some back-end technology that we really did need. Now we began to develop, in order to avoid carrying around job jackets all day, we developed some software on a FileMaker platform and really built everything we've done here on a shoestring because we had no money, we had nothing. And so the FileMaker solution was free. I found a developer in Ohio and worked with him tirelessly to develop a platform which was really status based and allowed us to, all the team members that we have, which were only a couple, to be able to all operate at different terminals and manage and push jobs through different statuses from new all the way to ready to invoice. And so we did that for a number of years, and then ultimately continued to refine our process. But problems that I think, because I can go on and on about just our journey that we've been on, which I could probably write a book on, but I think at the end of the day, what I want to maybe talk to you guys a little bit about are just some of the challenges that we run into and how we've overcome them. One of the things that you're going to struggle with, and if you're jumping in, or maybe you already have a business, is how to do volume. How do you handle volume? And for us, that answer to that was to diversify. So we initially were printing newspapers, and I made a decision to go, we're in Oklahoma, so we're in Indian country, and I made a decision to go visit every single tribe, and we started newspapers. That led us into doing mailings for tribes. So we were mailing newspapers. And I was on the hunt and continue to be on the hunt for new revenue streams. Because at the time, newspaper printing was going to be very limited. We're only going to have so much press capacity. We're going to only be able to, again, print so many newspapers. Mailing offered us an opportunity to, really keep customers because I felt like data was important and managing their list and things like that. We then realized that graphic design was something that customers needed. So we added graphic design services, and then gradually began to expand into wide format. And but doing any kind of volume in our business and managing that is really tricky. So making sure that you have the kind of workflow that allows you to do that kind of volume is something that we focus on every single day here. Our process is trying to minimize the freak out kind of situation that you can get into if you have a lot of volume and you can't handle it, or not enough volume in some cases. So for us, having a lot of diversity and a lot of different types of products and throwing a lot out there and constantly trying to be innovative with offering new things is one way that we're able to, keep orders coming in. But how we're leveraging the technology, which may be of more interest to you guys, is that we do use a lot of corporate storefronts. So we have a number of corporate customers who want a personal touch. They want to feel important, and they don't want to go to Vistaprint. They don't want to, their brand is important, their brand standards are important, and they need somebody that they know is going to go above and beyond. And so we've been able to develop relationships with many companies that are kind of mid-sized companies, 50 to 100 plus employees, that has their own brand and want to go to a personal storefront where they can have their templates for their business card, letterhead, envelopes, forms, anything really. So we have been able to minimize the amount of touches by creating those storefronts. But there are limitations to how many of those companies are out there, and those types of storefronts take time to develop, and you're only going to be able to do so much volume there. So we have kind of a hybrid environment here where we do work business to business, but we're also doing a lot of retail. So one of the things that I've done in order to manage more volume is to look at our customer service department. And I made the mistake as a business owner, continuing to, as we grew, adding team members in different departments, whether it was mailing or graphics or wide format, or whether it was our production, digital printing, production environment, or our offset. I would continue to feed more staff there. And in 2017, what I decided to do was to start staffing customer service. And by having more customer service representatives, we were able to handle and really kind of moving some of the, and I would say that by not having to have IT people, there's an opportunity to kind of shift some of those resources, which I think we were kind of doing too. So we now have a team of 5 customer care representatives. I work amongst them. I'm a working manager, and it's an open office plan where, we have a retail door. People come in, and we're working with customers either that are walking in or around the country. And having the customer care team has allowed us to be able to do more. And but there's always limitations to how much of any one thing you can do in a day. And I think that there's a danger in getting into this mindset that you just need to keep doing more work. I think there are different phases in everyone's journey and everybody's business journey. Our focus right now is making sure that we're charging what we need to charge for what we do, because what we do is offer a consultative approach. What we do is offer a lot of customer service. People will pay more for that. So making sure that we're charging what we need to charge, not skimping on graphic fees. I did that for years and years, and making sure that we charge for graphic fees. Making sure that that we are getting paid up front, that we are not getting ourselves in situations where we're managing our, ultimately, trying to manage our time as best we can. But again, I'm fascinated with how other companies do it, because we've kind of, being in the middle of nowhere, we've kind of had to do it on our own. And I've done it out of the sheer fact that I have a small family, and I have to make it work. So, but what I think I was trying to get at a moment ago was that, continuing to obsess about automation, continuing to obsess about volume is a bit dangerous. I think it's really important to make sure that you're taking care of your staff, make sure that you're in tune with your process, avoid everyone hitting the panic button as you slowly, try to add more volume or you expand into something different. And yeah, you will have to pay people more, and you have to get over that. And you have to get over the fact that maybe somebody doesn't want to work for you. Oh no. Well, newsflash, they don't like what you're doing. Get over it. That's the world we live in. But if you got people that are working for you, you're going to need to pay them a little bit more. You're going to have to figure that out, or maybe reconsider being in this business altogether, because that is what it is. It is hard. What we do is hard. It's manufacturing. It's custom manufacturing. And so I focus a lot of my attention on how I want to do volume and I want to be profitable, but I'm more concerned about the team that I have and everybody in my company. We have about 38 employees taking care of each other. And we do turn jobs away, but if you take care of the people, allow a fair amount of autonomy across your organization or your small business, it will pay dividends. Yeah, people today want more in their personal lives, and you're going to have to give them more of that. Okay, get over it. It's just the way it is. But there are dividends that get paid back. And I've noticed that we didn't stop through COVID. We didn't just shut our doors down. We worked all the way through it. I think I had one half day where I let people go. The rest of the time I had a core group of people. I laid off 7, and I've hired about 10 back since that. But we are more focused internally on who we are. In fact, I gave a speech this morning about, and I'll try to wrap this up because I could go on and on, but it's important because you guys need to know that I respect what you guys are doing, and it's hard. But I talked to everybody about this morning I said, there are several people in this company that have a lot of things going on, and serious health things, family members that are struggling. And those are very real issues that as business owners, we have to be really, our fingers have to be on the pulse of that. And so my speech this morning, I had 2 different production meetings, which we have meetings every morning. We try to communicate a lot. And my goal was, hey, listen, have perspective in the next 2 weeks leading up to this holiday. Do not freak out about jobs. We've got this. Everybody's in control of this, and take care of everybody. That is most important. It is not the jobs, it is us. And so that tends to be my mantra. And I get a lot of satisfaction out of that and the team building aspect of that. And I find that at the end of the day, we do more volume. People work harder because of that. They know that they're respected, and they know that that they have people around them that love them and respect them. So I do try to make sure that I'm staying on top of, our storefronts and our technology. I do it in spurts, and I try not to over obsess over it so that I go crazy. You have to kind of take it in chunks. You have to, in the beginning, if you're doing it, you got to completely commit to it. No doubt about that. Don't put it in the hands of an IT person. Trust me, you'll end up in jail. But anyway, I'll just leave it there. And if you guys have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have.
Thank you, Linus, for sparing the complete journey of Stigler Printing, and then how you are taking care as a business. It's a small business, but still everybody who's working there is a family. And also, for example, how you diversified only from newspaper printing, which was maybe your initial focus, which your grandfather started, and now today you're diversified in, I guess, all the types of printing, because now we can go into Stigler Printing and can see the whole wide range of products. So also some people would be interested, like how you guys automated some of the repetitive tasks. Is it like one of the questions somebody asked, like, what is the percentage of success rate for your customers to completely design and upload their production ready artwork to your website? So how much customers are doing on their own in the terms of designing and estimating?
Yeah,
And
I think getting people on the retail side to find you, which is a bit of a challenge unless you want to invest heavily in Google AdWords. I think we could certainly, that's a whole nother discussion. But storefront customers, corporate storefront customers, we have all of our storefront customers personalize their own artwork, and they order them, and we work diligently with their management to making sure that there are protocols in place where, if their purchase orders are required. Newspapers have been interesting. We've developed some newspaper templates. We're one of the only companies, and with the exception of maybe one other one in the country, that has newspaper templates. You can design and order your own newspapers, and we have picked up a number of small, everything from like a church newspaper to a political party's newspaper, and they've used some of our templates, and they consistently go back, and then they add more to their portfolio. I would say that I have been reluctant to invest heavily in trying to get that audience, to be honest. I think that it's really important to have templates. One of the things that we do, and this is a bit kind of off topic, but we had a customer, this is a good example. Guy comes in, he's got a small business, it's a startup. Hey, I need some business cards. Nicole, she meets him at the front. Okay, great. Well, would you like to come over and sit down with me, and I'll help you with that? What she does is she says, I'd like to create an account. She creates the account on stiglerprinting.com, and then she shows him templates. Now, this guy's unsophisticated. I mean, he barely probably knows how to call his mom. He's not the guy that's going to find your site and know how to do any of it. So what we do from a retail standpoint is we say, what do you think about these templates? Here's one right here. What do you think of that? Oh yeah, I like that. That looks pretty good. Okay, well, what's the name of your business? We do it all. And then at the very end, okay, are you ready to order that? Yes. We take the credit card payment, we go through the payment gateway, and the order's done. And we typically, on some of those, a lot of work, some work we outsource and drop ship somehow, some we outsource and ship back to us, but we try to avoid, if we can, getting into our production environment if there's a more efficient way to do it, if that makes sense. And so I know that's a little bit of a different type of approach where we're doing it for them, but the fact is that so many of our customers, and maybe yours too, are very technically unsophisticated. So, there's some challenges to design a banner. We do have a lot of schools that enjoy using our site, but I think there's a younger audience there that's typically designing things. We're trying to push more and more, but that's always a work in progress. I wouldn't hang your hat on the fact that if you get an OnPrintShop storefront up and you have templates that you're just going to start raining orders. It is not going to happen. You're going to be sad. You're going to be sad because you're going to think, why did I waste all this money? It is just a small sliver of what is ultimately the bigger part of your company. And so if you're going into any of, an OnPrintShop solution or website and thinking that one single thing is going to solve it, it's not. And we've diversified in a lot of different ways because we've had to. It's the only way that we can do volume.
Or you give me, I will just give to Evan. It's Linus
Yeah,
and
just
Stigler printing,
it's
right?
just here it is. Okay.
Yeah, so I've just put it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, please, anybody that's got questions, we're all in this together. I think everybody's journey is different. We're all struggling to try to figure out how to make this work. But I'm completely fascinated with how this whole journey goes. I'm still curious about it. I like what I do because I get a chance to manage. I get a chance to have a beginning, middle, and end to different products, which I feel like in my way, I have to have a sense of completion to things. That's what makes me enjoy what I do. And I like to be creative. And so I get a chance to do that every day. So anytime you guys have questions, you can email me. I'm going through whatever you guys have gone through or going through. I'm telling you, I either haven't gone through it or probably have. We've been struggling to figure this out, and I'll die someday still not figuring it out. Probably we all will, but anyway.
As you mentioned, yeah, like every business is unique. So that's what even at OnPrintShop we do. We understand first what the print unique processes you have, what kind of key customers, because even though you are offering the similar products and similar serving similar types of customer, but complete order processing could be different. So that's where we come in. So we also invite everyone to connect to us, and we really would like to understand your unique processes. If you can explain us the ordering process and where do you feel most challenging part. Like for example, Stigler Printing mentioned like the OnPrintShop is really helping them in terms of allowing users to design on their own, get an estimation, even some of the template customization work. And the majority of part is like the complete automation. So starting from quotation to estimation to production, they have synchronized way of doing it. So some of the repetitive tasks which was dependent on the human are automated by the platform, and now their complete focus is on offering the customer experience. So now they have more people talking with customers, understanding the needs. So their focus is going on helping customers and converting that lead to a sales, I would say. So we will conclude here, and then we invite you to connect to Linus or at OnPrintShop. We would be more than happy to understand your unique business processes and share what are ways you can even leverage the technology to automate the processes and reduce the manpower needed in repetitive tasks. So thanks a lot, everyone, and look forward to connect. Bye bye. Thank you, Linus.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks.